See, this goes right into, and I'm glad we're going to be going here because my next step is to play some clips from Steven Crowder, who I enjoyed the little interaction with Dave, but he is just as lame as the Laura Loomers here, which is if you've Tom Woods today was talking about Levin, how they were they had a disagreement several years ago, and Mark Levin had taken the position basically of like the Obama administration on some issue. Now this is where she tries to put everything in the purpose of Trump because, well, she doesn't, but anytime she can, because that's effective, right? Dave Smith comes on there. You saw this with Josh Hammer. If you saw the second one where he immediately comes out and talks about the stuff Dave Smith has said about Trump, because now if you get this audience thinking that, like, the conservatives do reflexively, that you can't, cat turd stuff, you can't have one mind thought that's not just lockstep. If you deviate from that, you're off the plantation, the white-tation, or whatever it is. And therefore, you should be not listened to. So that's what she does. It's all about Trump. So she thinks this heritage thing and is about Trump. It's not. Some of it is about trying to get Trump in your position, in your lanes. Okay. Anyway, she's a crackpot. And I think we need to, and so Dave Smith going on with not Tucker Carlson, with what's his noodle? And I got to find the clip here. Steven Crowder. There you go. With Steven Crowder is a prime example. Let's see if I can. Sorry, it's going to have to cut the sound here just for a moment. These ads. I mean, I have Brave browser. Is it not? Let's do this. Does it cut it out? Okay. Okay, there we go. Now I got it. So my Brave browser, for some reason, wasn't connecting that there. Okay, so here we go. I didn't do. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this part is, what do I. Oh, I'm sorry. Now you're seeing my notes here. Trump has ended more wars. This was an interesting little tiff that they got into here. Let me know if you can hear this. Okay.
And I think that Iran enriching uranium and not honoring their own agreements makes them responsible.
What agreement were they not honoring?
Well, just take the JCPOA, and I was going to think JCPenney in my head. Take it, add time and money, right? They've never played ball. You can say that they have, but they haven't, and that's why everybody was concerned.
Well, but what agreement?
Is it not aggressive to enrich uranium and
no,
to move to that point?
And but I want to. I almost caught myself. I want to mention that they were going to argue this Palestine and Gaza and like gloating. Why are you not happy that this ceasefire has happened? He brings Dave on, and they don't talk about that at all because the ceasefire is not really happening. So it's back. You're still killing a bunch of people. So instead, Steven Crowder wants to debate Dave, calling for Trump to be impeached, and he asked, you still stand by that? Now, personally, Dave's also makes the point. He's like, it's not going to happen. Well, yeah, but the Democrats want it to happen. Dave's like, okay. So personally, I wouldn't go as far as Dave. This maybe say I'm not going to impeach him or put him, under the ground type of. It's literally what he said. But I would have said it's more hyperbolic, or I'm trying to effectuate change here, right? Anyway, so that was the debate, and it was stupid. It was the dumbest debate that Crowder could have had with him, but it's the only one that, once again, that their little audience, because all the chat is going nonstop. Dave's a retard. Could be, but it was sometimes hard to hear Steven Crowder because his mouth was so full of like Trump cock. It was rough at times. So while I'm doing this, let me add this in here because I think this is what we need to do to people. It helps inoculate us. There you go. That's the background. Inoculates us from the bad people. Okay.
I'm just asking what agreement they were not honoring.
Every deal that Iran has ever made.
No, they were members of the Non-Proliferation Treaty in good standing. And in fact, the JCPOA allowed for them to, if America left, to up enrichment. They were only bound in the deal if America was still part of it to not raise their enrichment. And so that's what they did when we got out of it. I think, honestly, the JCPOA had a lot of flaws, mostly the sunset provisions. And I think it would have been totally reasonable and good for Donald Trump to get in there and even say, we're tearing this up or making a new deal, or we're fixing these sunset provisions. But the truth is that all you guys who are find it so aggressive that Iran was enriching up to 60%, they weren't until we pulled out of the JCPOA. That's a fact.
Yeah, they've been consistently enriching. But I do think, look, I don't want to go around in circles on this. You agree with Barack Obama's approach to Iran. I agree with Donald Trump's. Maybe that explains why you would want to impeach Trump.
Yeah, I just find that to be like, yes, okay, I know.
But that was
All
his
the people
approach.
Who'd you support in 2016, Steve, in the primary? Who were you for? Rubio?
Actually, in the primary, to egg on my face, I was pro Carly Fiorina just because I loved watching her sandbag debates.
No, I just love how everyone.
And Donald Trump, hold on a second, Donald Trump was a Democrat, and then I supported him in the general election. I've supported him since.
Right.
But I'm saying you right now are supporting, correct me if I'm wrong, Barack Obama's approach to Iran, which Donald Trump opposed in his campaign. And you oppose Donald Trump. So it is kind of a binary choice, right? Donald Trump campaigned on that.
I mean, it's really not.
Okay.
And yes, I think Barack Obama's foreign policy was horrible. Over maybe the only thing he.
And I'm glad Dave's. By the way, I'll say by the way as much as I want. I just can't handle this background. It's this. Take that out. This is a good response. And it's a stupid thing to try to pinpoint because there's one tiny little thing. The Iran deal. Oh, okay. So since you want the Iran deal, you probably want kids, transed. You probably are for higher taxes. You probably all the liberal shit that you can think of. It is ridiculous, especially when that one particular issue can be, it's not a left or right. And there's the binary thinking there of Steven Crowder. And then to try to put it on like, well, it is a binary.
He did good was getting the JCPOA done. So yes, in this very specific example, I do think that Obama did a better job with Iran than Donald Trump did. Okay. That is not true for the countries that like Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, Syria, Somalia, Yemen. Obama was horrible. But I do think the deal was better off than not. I think that it's kind of a cheap thing on a conservative show to go, well, you're with Obama rather than Trump.
I didn't say that.
The most critical thing. I am the most critical.
You didn't say that? You're with Obama rather than Trump? Should we go back and listen to him?
I don't want to go around in circles on this. You agree with Barack Obama's approach to Iran? I agree with Donald Trump's. Maybe that explains why you would want to impeach Trump. Say that.
Probably any commentator.
I didn't say that.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, you might be critical.
You kind of framed it that way.
Okay. Barack Obama's approach, JCPOA, working well with Donald Trump, said the Iran nuclear deal is a disaster, one of the worst ever, and I would pull out, and he did. By the way, Iran didn't enrich past 20% until Biden, right? So you have Barack Obama's approach, Donald Trump specifically criticizing it, campaigning on doing the opposite. And I didn't say you support Obama. I said it seems like in dealing with Iran, you would agree with Obama's approach and disagree with Donald Trump's. Is that a mischaracterization?
But he then said, which makes an understanding of why you would want him impeached. When you throw the impeachment thing out there, it doesn't equate anymore. You're doing the thing that we hell hate, which is, Stephen, have you ever had an idea that is against, that a Democrat would be okay with? Oh, it is? Oh, well, then you're getting divorced. That's not Chad. Therefore, you're no longer a conservative. Well, like that part might be true.
I agree with I agree with Pat Buchanan and Ron Paul and all of the tradition of the right wingers who were smeared as unpatriotic by David Frum. I agree with Lou Rockwell and Ron Paul and Murray Rothbard and Pat Buchanan and the founders of our country. I take the George Washington foreign policy. So yes, in this case, when Donald Trump said the Iran deal was the worst deal ever, I think it was really stupid. It actually wasn't. And what you should have been appalled by of Obama's foreign policy was him toppling the government in Libya, him attempting to topple the government in Syria, him backing the Saudi invasion of Yemen, him continuing to bomb Iraq and Afghanistan his entire presidency, killing innocent people for no reason at all. That's what I think is wrong with Obama's foreign policy, not the JCP.
So it sounds like you're a Democrat, Dave. Why don't you just admit it? Okay, that's that one. I do have one more clip from these two. Or did I just play that one? Okay, is this the? Let's see. I thought this was the one I just played, but evidently. So I don't know. I guess I didn't play the first one. Let's see if I can play this one then. Okay, I guess I didn't get the two. Okay, well, that's fine. We'll just do it. Let's take a look at the chat here. The real wall, both parties will protect. That's true. I ain't kissing some rum. Okay. I don't know about wearing that hat. Maybe they have a temp Jew version, like the socks at the shoe store. Toad versus the Groypers was fun. I don't know if I necessarily remember that. Laura Loomer creates more Groypers. Yeah, she's a stunning and brave browser. Thank you. Crowder is a diva. Crowder and Walsh are merging. Yeah, that's true too. Crowder is a diva. And when I'm watching this interview, I'm just like, it was a debate though. I was taken aback or reminded about how I was like, oh yeah, he's a like to his wife when we're, I know we're at the worst times of our lives. We don't need to have, certain things shown out there, right? The filming us at the worst times of our lives. But he really, when you read through his divorce document stuff, he really was a piece of shit to his wife. Now, I've seen his wife out there with stuff she says, and I'm not super impressed with her either. So maybe they deserved each other. But I noticed that. I'm just like, oh, he's that kind of piece of shit. He's that kind of piece of shit when it comes to doing a debate. And it just was, I try to show that to you there because I think that is expressly, it's a gotcha that works with small minds. And so Crowder can rule small minds because who's out there to actually, be concerned about this? I don't know why this, Crowder had chest surgery to fix his weird concavity to be more macho. Yeah, maybe I should do that, right? Maybe I should.